Bonjour and welcome to Comme, Française for week 1 of this online summer camp. As you can see, I'm not in the studio today. I'm outside. It's a beautiful sunset in Normandy. Probably you know this region. We have a beautiful set and I wanted to do this outside with you and take you on my holiday. So I have my notes. So this summer camp's goal is for you to speak better French in just 4 weeks. We're going to recap the basics of French. Even if you're advanced, you're going to learn lots of things. It's going to be a 4-video series, and in these 4 weeks we're going to see week 1, which is today, mastering the basics. So it's going to be French greetings and how to practice your French, because that can be tricky with French people. Week 2 is how to sound more French, because even if you've been learning for years, maybe you sound like a textbook. Week 3 is 6 cultural faux pas in the French culture. So this is more going to be about culture and mindsets of French people. And then week 4, the last week, is going to be useful French for French interactions that can really change how you speak French and how people answer back to you. So today we're going to see French greetings. You think you probably already know them because you know bonjour, but I've known people who've been in France for 20 years and didn't know some of the things I'm going to teach you today. And the second is going to be how to avoid switching back to English when you're speaking French with a French person. As usual, just like for all our lessons, you can download the PDF on communefrancaise.com on the blog. So you can get the vocabulary, the expressions and everything we're doing today with extra cultural resources. Bonjour, I'm Géraldine. Bienvenue sur Comme une Française, Sound French, even to the French. C'est parti. So first is French greetings. I know you probably think that you already speak French enough to know the greetings because you know bonjour and au revoir. Well, it goes beyond that. There are some hidden words and there are some cultural rules that are very, very important to know. The first thing to know is obviously bonjour, and if you're a beginner, how we say it, which is bonjour, not bonjour or anything else. Bonjour. Obviously, one of the most useful words in French is merci. Thank you, merci. And obviously, please, which is s'il vous plaît if you're talking to a stranger, s'il vous plaît, and s'il te plaît if this is a friend. So that's the basics. But honestly, bonjour is much more nuanced than that, and we use it a lot, but we have lots of other words to say hi. So first, you have to know that bonjour is only used before around 6 p.m. So for example, now at the sunset, I would say bonsoir. Bonsoir. Okay, that's how we say it. It's just one word, not two. Bonsoir. Also, a very important cultural rule that you might not know is that we only say bonjour once to everyone. And this means that if you say bonjour twice to the same person, it's a bit rude. Why? Because the way we use bonjour is to say hello, nice to meet you, I wish you a good day. So if you're meeting them again, the people are going to say, we've met already, you can't remember me? So that's why it's a bit rude. So we don't say bonjour twice, we sometimes just wave, just like that. That's super simple. Or you can say re-bonjour, which is a bit slang, a bit familiar, or re on its own. Yes, I know it's surprising, but we say re sometimes, just on its own. Another thing about bonjour is that we have other words for friends. Just like you have hello and hi, good morning, etc. We have other words. For example, one is super simple, is salut. It's something that you probably already read and heard many times on Comme Française. Salut, that's for friends. And coucou. Coucou, again, is for friends as well. Coucou, again, is just one word, not two. It's a very common mistake I see lots of students make. To say goodbye, you can say bonne journée, have a nice day, bonne journée. And if it's during the night, you can say bonne soirée or bonsoir, bonne soirée or bonsoir. As you heard, we say bonne journée and not bonjour to wish a good day at the end of the conversation. Okay, never ever say bonjour at the end of the conversation. If you want to say goodbye and not just wish a good day, we can say au revoir, which is the most common, most popular one. Au revoir, goodbye. And if you're with friends, you can say salut at the end. This is something that you probably already heard on Comme Française because I say it a lot at the end of our episodes. If you're going to see them again, you can say à bientôt for see you soon, à bientôt. And if you're going to see them very, very soon, you can say à très vite, which is something I often end emails with. à très vite, see you very soon. However, there's one that you probably learned at school, which is adieu. Adieu, it's way too dramatic for real life. So unless you're a character in a book saying goodbye to your lover, you will probably never see again. You can say adieu, but in real life, we almost never say it. But that's in France. If you're going outside of France, in other words, in the Francophone countries, you might hear it. I've heard it in Switzerland. So again, this doesn't apply to the whole world of French-speaking countries. And at last, about the greetings, bonne nuit, it's something I hear a lot in mistakes made by students. Bonne nuit is good night, as in you're going to bed right after that. So we don't use it often with other people who are not our friends, our beloved, our family. Okay, and never, ever, ever say it as the start of a conversation. To say good evening. Bonne nuit is only at the end. Just to recap the important things in terms of politeness, it's very, very important in France. It's part of the French culture to be polite and to use these greetings to start and end a conversation. If you want to say you're welcome, students often ask me that, we say de rien. De rien, you're welcome. Now we're going to talk about how to avoid switching back to English. Why? Because I've seen students very often try to practice their French and they meet French people who want to be helpful and nice, who switch back to English to help them better, or because the French people want to practice their own English. Don't take it personally. Unless the people you met are very, very rude, they're just trying to be helpful. I know most of the time you want to practice your French and the French people switching back to English doesn't help, but they just want to be nice. And again, just like you want to practice your French, they want to practice their English. So I'm going to recap the most important phrases you can use to keep speaking French when you want to practice with French people. However, something very important that applies to all the language. When you're visiting and you meet someone who is in a hurry, don't assume that everybody wants to be your practice partner. That applies to any language. If I were to Croatia and wanted to practice my non-existent Croatian, I wouldn't assume that everybody wants to spend 10 minutes correcting my Croatian. That would be rude, and I wouldn't want to impose that on others. So remember that if you're a very beginner or if you speak very, very slowly, if they don't have the time to practice with you, just be nice and try to have the information as fast as you can. But French people love the fact that you're trying to speak French and you can actually practice with them. That's how. I'm taking my notes. So the rule here, which I always tell my students, is if they try to speak English to you, just keep speaking French and they will lose and you will speak French together. So it's kind of a mind game. It's going to be okay, but again, don't switch back to English. So, for example, you can say, on peut parler en français. On peut parler en français. Can we speak French? That's super simple and they will appreciate it because they will see that you're actually trying to improve your French. If they switch back to English, you can say, excusez-moi, on peut continuer en français. Excusez-moi, on peut continuer en français. Excuse me, can we keep talking in French? This is useful if they switch to English and you want to keep speaking French. Or if you want to go ahead before even the conversation and avoid them switching to English, you can say, on peut parler en français, j'ai besoin de pratiquer la langue, merci. On peut parler en français, j'ai besoin de pratiquer la langue, merci. So you see, if you're going to, for example, book a room in a hotel and you know that the person in front of you is going to switch to English, just go ahead and tell them that you would love to practice with them. That's nice, you say your goal and they will love it. Of course, we have a joke, my brother and I, is that you can kind of say that you don't speak English so they cannot switch back to it. We have a joke, and again, you don't have to use it, but it's fun, so maybe you can try it. You can say something like, désolé, je ne parle pas anglais, je ne parle que croate ou polonais or russe, for example. Désolé, je ne parle pas anglais, je ne parle que croate. Or you can use any language that's not as common as Spanish and English. that you might speak or might not. I'm sorry, I don't speak English, I only speak Croatian, okay? So that's the phrases like you can use if you want to speak French. However, if there is something you don't understand, it can be useful to know what to say. So you can say pardon, that's very common, pardon, excuse me. This works everywhere, it's not even just for vocabulary. You can say je n'ai pas compris ce que vous venez de dire. Je n'ai pas compris ce que vous venez de dire. I didn't understand what you just said. Useful so they can repeat and not just speak louder. Je n'ai pas compris ce que vous venez de dire. Vous pouvez répéter? Vous pouvez répéter. Can you repeat, please? Vous pouvez parler moins vite, s'il vous plaît? Vous pouvez parler moins vite, s'il vous plaît. Can you speak slower, please? That's useful because very often, even I do that, French people tend to speak very fast and you can be lost. So if you ask them to speak more slowly, you will understand better. And at last, if you want to show that you understand and that you agree and everything, you can say oui, which is simpler, that's yes. You can say je suis d'accord, I agree, tu as raison, if you're with a friend, or vous avez raison, you are right. C'est tout à fait vrai, that's completely true, or tout à fait for exactly. That's useful when you're in a conversation and you actually agree with the people, and instead of just nodding, you can show that you appreciate what they're saying and you will implement their advice, for example, just like today. So that's all the tools I wanted to give you today for these two topics, which is French greetings and how to actually speak French instead of switching back to English. This is the theme of this online summer camp. I'm going to recap everything that we saw on Comme, Française, which is the most important, so you can speak better French in just 4 weeks. So tell me in the comments below, what's your number one takeaway this week? What did you learn today? Qu'est-ce que tu as appris de plus important aujourd'hui? Qu'est-ce que tu as découvert aujourd'hui? Again, you can download the PDF with the full lesson and extra resources on comeinfrancaise.com. If you learned something today, please share it with a friend. That would be fantastic and your friend will love it. I'm sure you have Francophile friends. We all do. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week somewhere else in France. Have a good day. Salut!